What is up everyone, Barricade here, and I'm bringing you guys my review of Dragon Ball Super Episode 32. And overall, this episode was pretty awesome. Simple, pretty funny stuff, nothing too crazy. Getting us started with, the whole tournament arc finally, and bringing us to the tournament, basically. That's what the whole point of the episode was. But overall, good episode, and I like how at the beginning we see Goku and Vegeta training, and they kind of have like that little moment where they basically admit that they're truly rivals. Goku basically says, dang, every time I fight you, I just feel like I gotta train harder. Like, you're just the person that basically pushes me. That's pretty much what he says. And then Vegeta, like, doesn't say it, but in his mind, he's like, damn it, like, I feel the same. Like, this guy is the person that keeps pushing me to get stronger and stronger. And then, actually, one thing that was real funny and interesting is Vegeta tells Goku to start acting like his age. And then Goku says, why? You told me that Saiyans are young until they're 80 years old. And then Vegeta's like, I meant like mentally, like act, how you should act. You act like a kid. But just Goku saying that was actually pretty interesting because I didn't know that. That's a fact that they kind of just barely brought up. That Saiyans basically stay young until they're 80 years old. So, wait a second. Let's just back up for a second here. Saiyans stay young until they're 80 years old. So that means they basically don't age at all. They look the same. And if once they hit 80, they start actually looking older? Like, what? That's crazy. So that means that Saiyans, by, normal biology, normal, things how they are, they probably have, like, extremely long lifespans. Like, I always knew they did. I had a feeling that they did. They obviously live longer than humans. But the fact that it takes them to become 80 years old first to actually start looking old, that's crazy, you know what I mean? Like in humans, a guy can start looking old once he's barely like 40. So it's basically like twice, they probably live twice as long as humans. They can probably live to like be 150, 200 years old. Who's to say? That's actually pretty crazy that Saiyans basically you don't see aging in them until they're 80 years old. That's just one crazy fact I just wanted to, kind of point out that Vegeta stated. That's pretty interesting. And then later on, we see that they go, they start getting ready to go to the tournament, and we see that funny part with Goku and Vegeta barely leaving the hyperbolic time chamber. They immediately just go out of the chamber, go straight to where they're gonna go to the tournament. But they're all stinky. They have beards and everything. So that was actually pretty cool. Another thing that they brought up about them is that they can actually grow beards. Throughout the whole series of Dragon Ball Z, it looked like Goku never had to shave his face. He just never grew any type of facial hair. Obviously, Goku was in a hyperbolic time chamber for a year, and we never saw anything hinting towards that. But, there's nothing to say specifically that they don't grow beards. People are actually raging about this, saying that Vegeta said that a Saiyan's hair doesn't change since their birth, which is true. Obviously Goku and Vegeta came out of the chamber for 3 years, and yet their hair still looked the same. Them having beards doesn't contradict anything at all. You see King Vegeta with the beard. We see Nappa with, facial hair. Who's to say that, they can't grow facial hair? I doubt, Nappa was born as a baby with a freaking, a freaking beard. You know what I mean? That doesn't make any sense. They obviously, don't have it at first, and then they eventually grow it, and then they just, like a normal person. I think what Vegeta was stating was his head hair. Saiyan's head hair don't change. They just have that style, and that's what they stay with their whole life. So that's, kind of interesting about their biology that they kind of showed in this episode. And then we get to go to see, that they meet Monaka, finally. They reveal Monaka. And Goku talks to him. He's like, oh my god, talking to him. Oh, they call you Great Panta. And he's like, oh yes, that's true. And basically it turns out that Panta is another word for nipples. And basically Wiz calls him that because he has freaking big nipples, which is kind of hilarious. And then Goku's just looking at him like, oh, like, that's awkward, like, that is kind of funny and weird, I don't know what the hell Akira Toriyama comes up with this stuff, Oh, let's just make a character that's stronger than Goku, looks short as hell, is bald, and has giant nipples. Like, just why not? Let's just make a character. Like, what the hell, Akira? You're so freaking weird. But he's still kind of a cool, interesting character in my opinion. He's just kind of like weird, very quiet, and that doesn't mean he's weak. Just because he looks different doesn't mean he's weak. That's the whole thing with Akira. He always makes characters that look extremely underwhelming, and then they're extremely powerful. That's what everyone was saying about Beerus when they first revealed Beerus. Everyone's like, what the hell? He's just like a skinny cat guy. And then they would compare him to Brawly because Brawly's super buff or whatever, and they think he's, omnipotent, which is stupid. But anyways, that's the point. Akira makes characters that are very underwhelming appearance-wise, but are extremely badass. So I don't know if Monaka can transform, or if he just powers up, or what, but they're gonna show it. They're gonna eventually show how badass this character is. But the thing that kind of goes backwards with this is how Goku decides to try to hit him, and he actually doesn't block Goku's punch, and he's sitting there like basically crying, and Goku's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry," and Monaka's like, "It's okay." Like, just the way he said it, oh my God, I felt so bad. I just started busting out laughing because this is so funny. Like, dude, Goku, like, I understand you want to fight strong opponents, but you need to chill sometimes. Like, punching someone in the face you just met, that's just that's just fucked up. Not to mention that brings back to what happened when they first met Old Kai. Goku shoots a blast in his face to check his power, and it's just like, look how that worked out. It's the same exact thing. And anyways, they go to, where they're gonna have the tournament. They see the Super Dragon Balls, which was actually really interesting as well, because they actually show them, by scale, that they're as big as planets. And the thing that actually came to my mind when I was watching that scene is you see the star, like the stars that the Dragon Balls have, and it's like, dude, how big are the stars? You know what I mean? If the Dragon Ball itself is as big as a planet, then that means the freaking star on the Dragon Ball, just one star, is probably like as big as a continent or even bigger. So it's crazy just to see, all this whole time throughout the whole series, the main Dragon Ball set from Earth, it's just, as big as a baseball. And then you have these ones that are freaking bigger than entire planets. It's crazy. And then another interesting thing is that Bulma starts complaining about the seats, that their seats are whatever, that they need to make, something more fitting to where they're gonna be and how they're gonna watch them fight. And then Goku basically asks, "Well, can't you make it?" To Beerus. Beerus says, "Destroyer gods don't create things, and if they do, it's awful." So that kind of brought a little other mental thing to my mind. Like, so wait a second. So if destroyer gods don't really create things, which makes sense, then what exactly does that make Whis and Vados? Like, I kind of always thought they were kind of like destroyer gods too, and that's why they, train, Beerus and Champa, because they're training them in that way. But technically, that would mean that they're not destroyer gods. Maybe they're the opposite. Maybe they're creator gods, and then they train destroyer gods to destroy what they create, so they can kind of like set a balance. It's just something that just comes to my mind. That doesn't actually mean that Whis and Vados are creator gods. They can create things, but who's this? They're not the main governing thing of the universe that creates life. So we'll go ahead and see if they kind of shed a little more light on that. Then we get to see, the funny scene about Kabuto Kai and Supreme Kai, that, they've finally been separated thanks to the Namekian Dragon Balls, that they're no longer Kabuto Kai. They're basically back to their two separate forms again. And then we actually even get to see the Supreme Kais from the Universe 6, which was also pretty interesting as well. And then we get to go, see the new fighters from Universe 6. We see that one guy. They even said he's a bear. He's a yellow bear with a red shirt, and people always make fun of him and say that he looks like Winnie the Pooh, and like, on the internet. So you never know. Maybe that's what freaking Akira got it from. He's a bear. He's yellow. He wears red. Like, where's more of a reference than that? That's just one thing that kind of makes me wonder. Like, did he really copy Winnie the Pooh from Disney? I don't know. That's just kind of funny. And then, we see the new Saiyan, the young kid that's a Saiyan. He tells them that they still live on planet Sadara or whatever in his universe. In the manga, it's actually called Planet Plant, so I'm guessing Sadara is like Japanese for plant or something. We'll just call it Planet Plant for the sake of this video. He basically says that they live on Planet Plant still, that they basically never migrated to Planet Vegeta, because Vegeta states that pretty much they used to live on the same planet that Saiyan lived in their universe, but thanks to that planet being destroyed by a war, they moved to Planet Vegeta, and then that's when Frieza took over, and that's what happened. But in Universe 6, that never happened. The original Planet Plant never got destroyed. They still live on that planet, and that's okay. Which is actually kind of an interesting contradiction to Universe 7. In Universe 7, our universe, Planet Sadara is destroyed, and then they move to Planet Vegeta, and then even Planet Vegeta gets destroyed. And then Earth is okay. Whereas in their universe, in Universe 6, the Saiyans never had to migrate to planet Vegeta. They still stayed on their original planet, and then Earth gets destroyed. So it's just kind of like weird. Like they always say that Universe 6 and Universe 7 are kind of like the opposite of each other's coins. They're basically like a flip. So, maybe things happen opposite. Maybe, one universe this person's evil, this other universe this person's good, and it kind of just, they're like the basic opposites of each other. And then we see the little funny part with the written exam. They changed it in the manga, which, I mean, in the anime, which I kind of wish they didn't because it was funnier in the manga. In the manga, Majin Buu fails the test because he's just an idiot and he just can't pass it. And, it's funny because they basically yell at him like, damn it, Buu, like, you're a freaking moron. But in the anime, they changed it to where he just fell asleep. And then he just, and that was just one thing they kind of changed. Kind of thought that was kind of weird, but whatever, that's not too big of a thing. But I guess that whole thing with, Fat Boo giving a wish to Mr. Saiyan isn't gonna happen. He freaking already got disqualified by falling asleep on the test, so that sucks. And then basically the episode ends with Goku about to fight that yellow bear guy. I already forgot his name, but yeah. So overall, this whole episode was actually really interesting. I really, really liked it a lot. He gave a lot of cool insight on not only just Saiyan biology, but even like things like interesting facts from the universes. Gave us a good look at the Super Dragon Balls, and just overall it was a great episode. I really liked it a lot. So I really hope that these next episodes regarding Universe 6 are just as interesting, just as awesome, and then with the fights that they're more more action packed and things like that. And one other thing I just want to bring up too is like I was saying earlier, maybe in one universe someone's good, one universe is other guy's evil, because they meet that one guy named Frost. They didn't talk to him, but they see him. Frost, he basically looks like Frieza. And then in the manga, it's stated that he is actually like Frieza. He's basically Frieza of Universe 6. But in Universe 6, he's actually like good, I guess. I don't know if he is actually Frieza. He looks different. His name is different. So maybe he isn't actually Frieza, but he pretty much kind of like stated in the manga that he is basically Frieza of Universe 6. But I don't know, maybe that's just a misconception by the translator or something. But overall, anyways, back to what I was saying, this episode was awesome. Really liked it a lot, and I cannot wait for the new episodes. Really excited about this series, and awesome episode today. But anyways, guys, if you guys like this video, please definitely hit that like button, subscribe, and tell me what you guys think about Dragon Ball Super so far. Shedding some light on certain things like Saiyans growing beards, Super Dragon Balls, and just things like that. Overall, awesome episode. I gave it a 4. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and take it easy. Thanks for watching this video. If you want to see my most recent Gears of War video, hit that link on the left. If you want to see my most recent Dragon Ball video, hit that link on the right. Thanks for watching, guys.